Workers of the all countries unite. The People's Republic of China, officially proclaimed a socialist state, in effect demonstrates the characteristics of capitalist society, and its evolutions leads to dangerous parallels with fascist regimes. To analyze this thesis, we will use logic and dialectical materialism. China is a fascist state from the point of view of proletarian truth. Let's begin. Definition of fascism. Let us give a definition of fascism from a proletarian source, namely the Great Soviet Encyclopedia of the first edition, which was written during the period of dictatorship of the proletariat in the Soviet Union, and a little bit modern, minor supplement. So, fascism, from the Italian fascio, a bunch of something. The most reactionary form of dictatorship of the imperialist bourgeoisie establishment by it to fight against the revolutionary movement, rapidly growing in the conditions of the post-war crisis of the entire capitalist system and the great victories of socialist construction in the Soviet Union. Fascism is the power of finance capital itself. This is an organization of terrorist reprisals against the working class and the revolutionary part of the peasantry and intelligentsia. It's from Dimitrov, The Offensive of Fascism and the Tasks of the Communist International, report at the 7th World Congress of Comintern, 1935. It was a year, 1935. Fascism, having come to power, represents an open terrorist dictatorship of the most reactionary, most Chauvinistic, and most imperialistic elements of finance capital. It's 13th plenum of the Communist Party, verbatim report, 1934. Fascism intensifies the enslavement of the masses and oppressed nations and pressures a policy of new wars of conquest. Fascism is war. Lenin noted two systems of bourgeois governance. If the tactics of bourgeoisie were always monotonous, or at least always homogeneous, the working class would quickly learn to respond to them with equally monotonous or homogeneous tactics. In fact, the bourgeoisie in all countries inevitably develops two systems of governance, two methods of fighting for its interests and defending its domination. And these two methods sometimes replace each other, sometimes intervene together in various combinations. These are, first, the method of violence, the method of violence of refusing any concessions to the labor movement, the method of supporting all old and obsolete institutions, the method of irreconcilable rejection of reforms. Such is the essence of conservative policy, which in Western Europe is increasingly ceasing to be the policy of the landowning classes, and it's increasingly becoming one of the varieties of general bourgeoisie policy. The second method is the method of liberalism. Steps towards the development of political rights, towards reforms, concessions, etc. The era of imperialism is marked by an increasing transition of bourgeoisie to a system of conservative politics, the withering away of liberal methods of governance, and the growth of repression against the working class. And modern addition. In the conditions of the 21st century, fascism has hidden and open terror. Hidden fascism is crypto-fascism, digital fascism, a total digital concentration camp. China was the main driver of fascism during the COVID-19 period. Fascism has entered to the open phase under the guise of the medical mask and something that we call excitation, you understand what I mean. A very good needle operation with this big needle. Capitalist economy, private property and market. An important characteristic of capitalism is the predominance of private property and the market relations. In China, despite significant state participation in the economy, the private sector plays a leading role. More than half of the country's GDP is produced by private companies, and private enterprises provide the majority of jobs. A huge number of Chinese companies are listed on international stock exchange, indicating deep integration into the global capitalist system. Let's go on. Inequality and capitalist class contradictions. Chinese society exhibits significant economic inequality. In 2020, China ranked among the top countries in the terms of the number of billionaires, and the gap between rich and poor continues to grow. This phenomenon contradicts the basic principles of socialism, which involve the elimination of class inequality. The second, state capitalism. Control over key sectors. The Chinese government maintains control over the strategically important sectors of the economy, such as energy, telecommunications, and financial services. This can be seen as a form of state capitalism, where the state acts as the primary capitalist. This model allows for control over economic processes while simultaneously using market mechanisms to increase efficiency and growth. And the third, towards fascism, authoritarian control and repression. The Chinese political system is characterized by strict authoritarian control. The party suppresses any political opposition, restricts freedom of speech, and controls all aspects of the citizens' lives. Ratings, digital concentration camp, etc. Massive repression of Uyghurs and the other ethnic minorities, as well as increased censorships and surveillance, confirm the movement towards the fascism regime. Nationalism and centralization of power. The Chinese government actively promotes nationalist ideology, emphasizing the superiority of Chinese culture and the importance of national unity. This aspect is reminiscent of fascist regimes that use nationalism to mobilize the population and legitimize their control under the red flags of socialism. They build a true fascism. And conclusion. Using dialectical materialism, it can be argued that China, although calling itself a socialist state, yeah, they call themselves like this, is in fact development along a capitalist fascism path. Moreover, increasing authoritarianism and nationalism create dangerous predictions for the increasing fascism of the state. Thus, China should be regarded as a capitalist state with a tendency toward fascist development. And the end. The idea of any project is always put in the title, in the name. China is called the Nation Republic of China. Someone else called it the People Republic of China, but I think the Nation Republic of China is more correct. And it moves the ideas of the nation first of all under the red flags of socialism. This is a great goose. This is a great mask. And the Soviet Union was the union of Soviet socialist republics, or union of council socialist republics. Soviet and council is the same, and moved the ideas of socialism. Thank you for your attention. The power is in proletariat truth.